Anyway, hi everybody. Tonight we're going to look at, and it's nighttime where Faye is. Can you tell? Anyway, tonight we're going to look at Taurus's outlook for February 2020. So lead us not into temptation, Faye, but deliver us from ego.
All righty. Well, okay, Taurus, you appear to be having a bit of a leak in your finances right now. Your finances are in a position that indicates that they're headed downwards. It's either your finances or your health. This is the rune, and it's at its kind of midway position. But it definitely is an indication that there's a drain somewhere on your finances or on your physical self. So if your money is doing okay, then your health is probably needing a little bit of work there.
I've got the card of walking away. This is a card of walking away, and I do believe it's finance. Part of it is from your decision making, and part of it is from your potential to walk away from situations before they're complete. So there's probably going to be a temptation to want to walk out of your job. Just up and leave it because you've had enough. And that's not a real wise time to do that right now. You need to wait probably till the summer months. Get through the winter, into the spring at least, before you start making these rash decisions. Because for Taurus, once you make a decision and you follow through with it, you burn your bridge.
The next thing, sitting right next to that one, you have this rune. Whoops. And it was actually in that position. Okay, that's the position it's in. What that indicates is kind of an energy leak you've got going on. I just feel like you're pouring out energy somehow. You may be doing impulsive decisions, or rash decision making, perhaps is a good word for it. And the problem is that with both of the runes that I've read, their tendency is going to be to continue into their downward position, which indicates, more and more of a leak. The second rune, one of the things that deals with is triumph through giving something up, through a sacrifice. And it appears like maybe you're clinging to something you shouldn't be, or I don't know, there's something, okay, here's my sense, is almost like an addiction type of thing, is what I'm picking up with that right now. Take it for what it's worth. That may be for somebody specifically. But I feel like that there's money just like flowing out of you right now due to some sort of an addictive or impulsive behavior.
Okay. And I drew the King of Cups. I mean, the Queen of Cups.
You're just not good with that whole sexual thing, are you? You're non-gender
binary.
biased.
The whole binary thing is lost on me.
Yeah, you're
the
totally...
It of Cups. The him, her of Cups. Anyway, you know what I thought about when between that card and the rune that you chose was what's going on right now with Mercury in retrograde, which is... It's in Pisces, which is very emotional, and the emotions are turbulent. And this is the Queen of Cups is a emotional queen. She's the nurturer, the mother, the emotional, the romantic. And if what the runes are indicating, then your addiction has to do with another person that is sucking you dry. And staying in that relationship is toxic. On the other hand, leaving it, there are certain benefits that I think maybe even financial that you're going to have to deal with as a consequence to letting that person go. But the Queen of Cups does not like letting people go. She keeps thinking she can fix them. and that's kind of it's very sweet. We all need people like that in our corner, but it can be very toxic for the person doing it.
The next rune that I had in this series was Ansus, and that deals with your intuition, basically. So it's like you're actually, I don't think we're telling you anything you don't know here. Um, you're aware that you're in this kind of a, okay, this is going to sound weird, and again, and go with it. Um, I feel like that this is almost an obsession type of thing. Again, I'm just getting this feeling of things out of control, kind of, or just sort of, I don't know. You know what you need to do, but for some reason you're having problems doing it. Your guts are telling you, your brain is telling you, everything internally is in alignment, saying, you know, I need this situation to stop. But again, like an addiction or something, you're not being able to let go. And I don't know if that's you or if it's the person you're dealing with, or maybe your situation is such that you're having problems leaving it. But
Oh, I can answer that. I can
ooh,
answer
ooh,
that.
ooh. Okay,
Pick
go
me.
ahead.
Pick me.
You're tall. Ah,
It's the Wheel of Fortune, karma. You are cleaning up karma with this person. That until this karma is resolved, you're stuck in this dance with this person. And that's why you're having a hard time letting go of it, because you don't feel there's a completion there.
yeah. Okay. What I've done is the first three runes that I read were in their upright or visible position. Now I've gone ahead and flipped the other runes that I've got, which are the things that are the more hidden or subconscious runes. And the very first one you have is this one. I don't know if you can see that one. There we go. Anyway, um, that rune is also moving. It's like basically everything you've got. You're headed into. I have a feeling a little bit of a rough time right now. Not to say anything bad or anything, but it looks like right now you're kind of heading into some trials and tribulations. And part of what's going on is you are not allowing yourself to have the space that you need in order to protect yourself. That rune is an indication of a deer, the antlers that they used to push away. And again, it's heading into its downward position, which is an indication that you are um, kind of almost feeling cornered in a weird way. It's almost like you're feeling like you can't get out of this. Maybe part of the situation is that your finances are entangled with this person, and it feels like you're like, if you leave that situation right now, that it's like you're going to get you won't be able to afford it. And as I'm reading this, I'm wondering if maybe the money that's pouring out isn't on your half or the energy, whatever, but maybe it's the person or the situation you're involved in. It may be more that there's where the leakage is coming, but you're feeling so overwhelmed that you can't seem to struggle to get out of it right now.
And I pulled the Magician card, which is this card says that if you keep the flow open between you and the universe coming down, and you keep that flow open, you have all the tools of life at your disposal. You can do whatever you want. It means really working on your spirituals. The only way out of the situation is a spiritual path. And I'm not talking religious at all, but I'm talking of your highest good. But I also would like to say in here, my sense is that you may be taking care of someone that you're afraid will not be able to survive without you. It feels very psychically codependent. that they've got you enmeshed spiritually and you're bound that way.
I'm not bad. I'm just bound that way.
Upward bound.
Yeah. Okay. There is also, here's the next, whoops, there's the next rune. And this one deals with the flow of emotion, and it's in its downward position as well. And my sense with that is that you are emotionally depleted right now. You're probably feeling very prone to depression, anxiety, a lot of just overwhelmed feeling emotionally. I think that's a lot of it. It's like this situation is really taking the air out of your sails currently, and it's on the upside. You're kind of at your lowest point with this, and that rune is actually starting to work its way back into the upward position. So, though right now you may be feeling overwhelmed, the fact of the matter is that things are going to start clearing out for you on an emotional level. You should start seeing a little bit of relief from some of this.
And that brings us to the card of Temperance, which is a spiritual healing. I believe you're probably being given the gift of desperation right now, that in order to surrender and let the universe take over, you're going to have to get into some type of pain. Pain is the touchstone of all growth. We don't change unless the pain gets too great. This is a wonderful card. You're being forced to let the universe heal you. And the healing is happening. It is starting to happen. And so you've got some really amazing things coming up for you healing-wise.
It's kind of interesting. If I remember correctly, Temperance is the card of Sagittarius, which is a fire sign. And interestingly enough, the rune that you've got here deals with fire. In its upright position, which unfortunately it is not, it deals with the fire of creativity, of passion, of movement. The position you have it in right now is in the more destructive form, which is sort of in the way I'm reading this, it's almost like burn it to the ground. That's what it feels like to me. Give me a strange look, Seth.
I think I missed something because I was picking a card.
Oh, it just feels like it's this destructive kind of an energy, like burn it to the ground, start over,
Burn what to the ground? Just everything?
Everything.
Oh, okay. So it's a metaphor.
And what's a metaphor? It's
for
a
cows
place
to graze in.
Exactly. So my sense is that you're, we were talking earlier about kind of doing impulsive behaviors and stuff. And my sense is that you've reached a breaking point with all of this where you're ready, willing, and able to just completely walk away. Like I said, burn it to the ground. It's like, I'm done. I'm done. I cannot do this any longer.
Okay. I want to step back to the Temperance card real quick. It also addresses addictions. The Temperance card. It means getting your addictions, addressing them, and letting go of some of the addictive qualities. But the card that came up as Faye was talking, can you see that? There's a glare on it.
Yeah, it's seeable. It's not great, but it's seeable.
It's the Four of Pentacles, and that's the card of the miser, which means you're holding on so tightly to something, you're afraid that you're going to lose everything. And so by holding on so tightly to something, no new growth can come in, no new prosperity can come in. So my sense is, again, this addiction, to me, it could be alcoholism, it could be drug abuse, it could be gambling, but really the one that really comes to me is an addiction to a relationship with a human being. You're afraid of losing that human being, And there's a financial consequence to it. There's a spiritual consequence to it. There's an emotional consequence to it. And you're holding them on so tightly that it's becoming painful, and you're ready to just walk away from it.
Explode, basically.
But you can't, because you're karmically bound at this point.
It's interesting, because my sense, it's almost like we have two addictions going. We have the addiction of the individual you're dealing with, and in a weird way, for whatever reason, my brain is saying that they're gambling addiction. That's what I'm feeling off of it. But I agree that there's also the addiction to the situation itself. It's like there's this weird emotional thing. And I think maybe perhaps that's what happens, is it's like that you're willing to give them the money if they'll stay, which sounds really bad. I'm sorry, but that's really my sense. And I'm going to pull an extra rune. I'm feeling a need to pull something else out of here, just as a, I don't know, either a clarifier or a outcome or something. Well, okay, there we go. Give me just a moment, kids. Okay. What I did is I actually pulled a grouping of 3, but I'm going to read it as one. And what I'm seeing here is that you're in a cycle right now. That's something where this pattern may seem familiar to you. I don't think that this is necessarily the first time you've undergone something similar to this. However, it's almost like you maybe focus outwards from yourself and get so concentrated on the person or people in your life. You get so concentrated and focused on the people in your life that you kind of disappear in all of this. You become sort of furniture, a non-entity. It's almost like you are an attachment for that person, for lack of a better way of putting it, you know. And I think that's the biggest thing, is it's like you have lost sight of yourself, or you're it feels like you've disappeared and you're feeling that pain of having disappeared. And I think that's what's making you ready to destroy this whole thing, is this need to come back to yourself fully, to, you know, engage that spiritual enlightenment, to get that spiritual healing, because it's like you kind of feel like you're missing an action somehow, as if you're no longer a full person in all of this. I'm sorry, I don't have a better way of putting this, but that's my sense of it.
And I drew an extra card too. It's the Ace of Cups. And what my sense is this indicates that there's a new offering of love coming in. That could actually be another person coming into your life. But here's the problem that we're facing with this. Even if you decide to take another person in, you're going to repeat the same cycle again. So this could actually be your relationship you're presently in can undergo a transformation if you're willing enough to stop being the doormat. Go ahead, you got something to say.
Yes, I do. My sense of that also is it's like the offer of love is not necessarily external per se. It's the lesson of learning to love yourself. It's a lesson of learning to care about yourself enough to protect yourself, enough to say no, enough is enough. is enough. I'm not carrying your burdens anymore. You know, there's a need for you to learn to care about yourself.
Okay, I'm going to add one thing onto this, that
Okay.
I don't think that we, and I say we because I can fall in this category too, are capable of changing ourselves. I think if we were capable, we would have done it a long time ago.
Hmm.
So I think this is putting us in a position of letting something or someone else come in. Maybe it's a therapist. Maybe it's a minister. Maybe it is a higher power. Maybe it's angelic. I don't know, but something coming in and helping us fine tune ourselves. But I don't think that it's something that we can address alone because it is so much in our DNA at this point in time.
I can work with that. Anyway, so it sounds like the primary message here is that it really you're needing to kind of take a look inwards, kind of marshal your strengths, try not to be impulsive or explosive in this time. You know, it sounds like you've got a lot of pain that's going on, and it's okay. Um, Sometimes pain is, well, not sometimes, pain is our greatest teacher.
Mhm.
And it's okay to be going through this pain because the lesson that you're getting from this will hopefully save you in the long run from continuing this cycle. But you have to be willing to walk through that pain to get to the other side of it.
I would also like to add that this has been a little bit more of a heavy, poignant reading than a lot of the ones we've had lately. But remember, it's very temporary. This is just for the month of February, probably into March. So this is not the rest of your life. So don't get dramatic.
Right, right,
Don't
right.
pull out the razor blades. This is something just to look at right now while Mercury's in retrograde and your emotions are all over the place. That will end in March. So
Exactly.
just hang in there. Don't make any abrupt decisions for the next 30 days. You can do that. Just business as normal. Bite your tongue. Don't bite someone else's tongue. Don't do it.
Thank you so much for joining in, and hopefully, we will see you next time.
And
Take care of yourselves.
for more information about the retrograde stuff, check it out on YouTube because it's some very interesting information.
And also, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. Ciao.